Hey guys, it's Christy again. Today we're going to do a tutorial on how to make a beachy letter using some of the metallic watercolors, the water brush pen, and the Jelly Roll gold pen from the August lettering box. So let's go ahead and get started. First, you're going to want to fill, I'm using the medium size. This isn't color, this is stain already. It's not going to affect the drawing. But you're going to want to fill it up. You're going to want to have a cup of water, paper towel, a scrap piece of paper. This is my main piece. This is watercolor cold press, 140 pound. These are the metallic watercolors from the box. So we're going to be using 3 elements from the box: the watercolors, the jelly pen, and the water brush. First, what you're going to want to do is wake up your watercolors. You're going to squeeze a few drops of water from your brush into the color. And I'm actually going to bring the color over to my palette. So I don't actually mix the blue and the pearl together in the watercolor dish. Mix with a little bit more water, and you can test it on your scrap piece of paper to see if it's the density that you're looking for. Let's mix this and wake this a little bit more up. Put it over here. Squeeze some water out as you're cleaning it off, and then we're going to squeeze a little bit more water into the blue and do the exact same thing, waking up the palette. And bring some color over here. And do some test strip. Yeah. This. I know you don't have to dip a water brush into the water, but it helps clean it a little faster than just squeezing it out. So now that I've gotten my colors woken up the way that I want them, do a couple practice strokes, and I'm going to go ahead and write the initial. I'm going to do the letter B in the lighter of the colors. So we're going to start with our heavy down stroke, and we're going to squeeze a little bit to fill in because you're going to want this to be a little bit watery. I also like to bubble my ends to give a little flair to the letter. And you're going to keep it wet as you're going because you're going to want these colors to blend when you're working with them after. Again, put a little bubble on the ends of my flourishes, just kind of Christy style. So now that we've got a nice wet pearl, I'm going to clean the brush a little bit. We're going to go over and pick up our blue color with the water. I need some more. And we're going to go ahead and just drop it onto the edges and let it pool. You're going to just lightly touch that brush to the wet parts. And we want this marbling effect, which is going to make it look kind of like the ocean water as we drag the color and add water. You add water by squeezing the brush just a little bit as you go. The more water you use, the more it's going to spread out. And try to stay in those lines of the original letter that you painted. Now when it's wet, you can clean the brush again and go back and get some more of the pearl and add in. Give the swirl effect. On the beautiful marbling in the color. It looks like blue ocean to me. So if you're not getting the exact marbling that you want, you can use gravity to go ahead and move the paint around to where you want. So we're gonna go ahead and let that dry. Bring it up to the camera so you can see how gorgeous that marble is. We'll let this dry and go ahead and add the sand texture after. Alright guys, now that the watercolor has dried, we're gonna go in with the jelly pen and add some detail that's gonna be the stand. So first step is to draw an outline around the letter. You're gonna give yourself a little bit of paper between the edge of the letter and the jelly pen line. Make sure that the watercolor is dry before you run your hand across it, or you're gonna wind up dragging paint all over your paper with your hand. So, always good to wait a little while longer than you thought to make sure you don't screw up the final. Okay. So, get this outline in. And then after the outline of the letter, you're gonna go in and start doing the stippling, which is little dots. You're gonna want to make them much closer together next to the line and get them farther apart as you spread out to the paper. So when you're touching the line with the dots, you're gonna want them to look as if they blend in to the line. So we'll start up here. And always, if you're right-handed, start on the left side so you don't drag your hand across the jelly paint. I know I started a little off, but jelly pens take a second to dry as well, so they can easily mess up if you drag your hand across them. So you can always turn your paper too so your hand isn't in the way. There's nothing like writing. You can't write from an angle. Stippling you can do from any side. Okay, so there's our beachy bee with sand and water, and let's take a closer look at that detail with the metallic. Look at that shine. And the sand. There we go. That's one beachy, shiny bee from the August lettering box. Thanks for checking in, guys.